York's classic rock, Q1043.
Paul Reiser is with us here at Q104.3. And it came as a bit of a surprise. You happen to be in town. You're doing some television appearances. And it's been about a year since you've joined us on the show. And I heard at the last minute that you wanted to come by. And we are very thrilled to have you.
You know what? I like to see you once a year. You know, just like my cardiologist. Like, once a year, a little check-in with Jim.
I don't like going to cardiologists.
Yeah,
you know why?
This is more fun.
You know what they tell you to do?
Yes, everything stop.
Yeah,
Stop what you're doing.
they tell you to exercise. They tell you to change your diet.
Yeah, I don't need that.
What fun is that? You know, the nerve of those cardiologists.
Just say something positive, like you're doing great. All right, see you next year.
Well, everybody's familiar with you. I mean, even though you live in California now, you are a New Yorker. You went to Binghamton.
I am. I think I may have shared this last time. My boys, who are 29 and 24, grew up solidly in Los Angeles, and both have pronounced New York accents. And nothing has made me prouder. It's like, oh, they don't sound like Valley kids. I'm so happy.
Well, you know, you're probably best known for Mad About You, of course. But even, you know, current big giant hit shows. Stranger Things,
yes.
It doesn't get bigger than that.
No,
The Kaminsky Method doesn't get bigger than that.
I like to help out the little fledgling shows when I can, just a little appearance. Yeah, you know, it's been fun the last couple of years. But now, you know, I've been out, and the reason I was back in New York, I was promoting this movie that I have been pushing uphill for a couple of years. And this was the one thing that I wanted to do, and all these other things were accidental. Kaminsky Method and Stranger Things and The Boys, these wonderful shows, Beverly Hills Cop. It's like, I had nothing to do with them. They just said, would you like to come play with us? Sure. But this movie that's coming out, The Problem with People, was really my labor of love that I had wanted to do, and I wrote it with a buddy of mine. And it's funny, it's like, and I play a guy from New York who goes to Ireland to settle a family feud with a relative he's never met.
Well, you're a long-lost cousin.
Yes, my long-lost cousin. And the backstory is that these are guys, it's Colin Meaney, wonderful, wonderful actor, and myself play cousins and never met, never heard of each other, but we've both heard the same stories from our grandfathers and our fathers, that the great-grandfathers were brothers and they had a falling out, and we never talked to the other side of the family. So we've both been, you know, and it's sort of a little microcosm of how we all grow up with prejudices, and you know, and every family has somebody they go, you know, I don't talk to that cousin. Like, why? I don't remember why. I was told not to like him for something he said in 1942. So it was a sort of it's a really fun romp comedy, but at the heart is hopefully this bigger thing of why can't people get along? Why must we always have to fight about something? Is there any way to bridge these gaps? So if you can't bring countries together, well, maybe we can bring these two idiots together. And of course, it's harder than they hope. But when I was writing it, I said I can't be in California. I have to be a New York guy. I don't know how to write ever. I can never write myself anywhere but New York.
Well, besides, it makes it all more believable.
Yeah.
I've been to Ireland 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
And I love it there. By the way, I've never seen a place that is filled with so many friendly people before. As a matter of fact, it's very dangerous for a guy like me because there are so many strangers that want to buy me drinks.
Yeah.
You know, because they hear, "Oh, you're from New York." You know, my cousin is from New York. Everybody in Ireland knows someone in New York, so it makes the character that you portray more believable to be a New Yorker than had you been from somewhere else.
There is a
in the
connection.
country.
There is a New York and Ireland connection for sure. But it's been, you know, it's coming out this week, and it's been such a dream to get this out. And what I've been really encouraged is people who have seen it so far, and it's really only a few screenings. Everybody, well, they're laughing at the right things and they're moved by the right things, but they're getting this thing that I was hoping was there, subtly as it is, that, like, you know what, this is actually it's addressing a question that we all struggle with. Like, what is the problem with people? Why do we have to have divisions? And I've heard more than a few people left a screening going, you know what, it made me want to call my brother. I haven't spoken to my brother for 9 years. Like, you know, my buddy and I had a falling out. Like, okay, that's a good thing. If a movie can make you laugh and do that, I'm very happy.
Well, I saw the trailer. I haven't seen the film.
That's enough.
No, it's not, because the trailer makes me want to see the movie.
Oh, beautiful.
I saw the trailer, and it's very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really is. And the chemistry between the two of you.
Yeah, he's such a great actor. Colm Meaney is one of these guys that's never not good. He can be in something, the movie may not be great, but like, well, that guy was believable and solid, and he's, huge, and especially in Ireland. I tease him, I call him the national treasure. He goes, stop saying that.
Were you thinking of him when you were putting this together?
I don't think we were thinking of anybody, but then you sit down and go, well, who would it be?
Because I see the two of you on the screen together there.
And it looks right.
It looks perfectly right.
And it's like, well, you buy that these guys could be the third generation from the same DNA pool. And it was funny, before we started shooting, about a few days before, we did a table read, and it really read well and everything worked. And the other actors go, oh, so clearly you and Colm have worked together a lot, right? I went, no, we just met yesterday. But the rhythms were there, and what really works for the movie is we're similar in that we can both be very charming, we can both be very amiable, we can also both be a little prickly and a little cantankerous. It's like, well, that's what these guys are. So the movie is really about two guys who mean well and are good guys, and you're rooting for both of them. But human nature is such that you go, wait a minute, I don't think I trust you. And they go, whoa, hey, buddy. It's like the minute you see something rise up in somebody else, your worst instincts will come out.
Well, the situation that you two find yourself in is one that would cause conflict.
Yes,
in any family.
They're brought together in the name of settling an argument that neither of them have ever any investment in. They don't care about, like, yes, two guys had an argument in 1890. Why should we not be able to raise a glass in friendship, as he says? And then it becomes a fight. It's not even really a fight over a piece of land. It's a fight about, wait a minute, you just tried to screw me. I just tried to screw you, and it just keeps accelerating. And there's not a day. Somebody said, "Where'd you come up with that title?" I went, "The problem with people." I said, "There's not a day that somewhere you don't say that or at least think that, and you're watching the news or you're driving in traffic and go, look at this idiot. What is the problem? What is the problem here? What is the problem with people?" It's like, yeah, because we're flawed.
Well, it's Paul Reiser who's with us. The problem with people, when did the idea start to percolate in your head?
Not sadly, but remarkably, years ago. The original inception was the movie Local Hero, 1983. Peter Rieger, Burt Lancaster. This beautiful little movie about an American businessman who goes to Scotland.
Great actor.
Yeah. And that was a gorgeous movie. And I was so in love with the movie for so many reasons, but not the least of which was I'd like to make a movie like that. I want to go to a beautiful, picturesque little town, Scotland, Ireland, somewhere. And so I always had this just thought. And then I had been to Ireland about 30 years ago. My wife and I went with some friends, and I just loved it. As you say, people were friendly. You can't quite grasp how beautiful it is. And like, I remember people go, "It's really green." I went, "I've been to New Hampshire. I know what green is."
No, you don't.
You don't.
And I even saw sheep.
Yes.
And I saw the dogs controlling the sheep,
yes,
which was unbelievable.
Crazy.
Those dogs actually do have a job, and the sheep actually pay attention.
Like 400 sheep are scared
Yes.
of one little dog.
Yeah.
They're great. But so I said, God, I just want to. So I really was it was sitting in me for years. And I would play with it, and I couldn't come up with a story. And then I was chatting with this producer once. I said, "I have this idea, and maybe I should write it with somebody, but I don't know who." And they said, "I know a fella." And she introduced me to this guy I'd never met before. His name was Wally Marzano-Lesnovich, who's a young writer and actor, and he lived here in New York. And we just started talking and walking around the city. And suddenly said, "Well, why would I go to Ireland?" That was the reason. I want to go to Ireland was the reason the movie came. But we stumbled onto the story of, what if it's about family? What if they're related? What if it becomes about this bigger thing, about trying to look at human nature and trying to be better people than we actually are? And then it really wrote itself quickly. So it's been a long journey, but really, really thrilled with the way it's come out.
Well, you're very, very well known, and you're successful.
And handsome.
And you've had a great career You know,
forgot handsome.
the nominated for 4 Golden Globes, 11 Emmys. You wrote 3 best-selling books that all have Hood in the
Yes.
title. But that being said, as successful an actor and performer as you are, when you have a movie, you have a concept, you have a script, then you have to find a way to get it done.
Yeah, and there's so many obstacles. And even when the script finally was done and it came out pretty easily and read really well, and we were very proud of it and pleased with it, you know, you got to raise the money. And a couple times we had money, we lost the money. And then COVID came. It's like, well, nobody's working. And then and I found this great director, Chris Cottam, who directed it. And then his schedule didn't work. And then Cole Meany's had a schedule conflict. And I had to do another show. So when we finally got it done, it was like, I said, I'm not going to believe this is happening till I'm in Dublin and I can see the whites of Cole Meany's eyes. And then we sat and had a Guinness together. I went, okay, this is real. But you know, that's part of why I love stand-up so much, because it's so free of all these concerns. It's just think of something.
It's just you go do it.
Go do it, say it, go home. You don't have to you don't have to get approval. You don't have to get it, you don't get notes from people. And this was an independent film, so we didn't have any studio saying, you know, what if there was a monkey in the movie? No, there's no monkey. What if he was from outer space? No.
Well, getting notes can mean, to our friends who are listening, getting a little criticism.
Yes.
And
it's not even criticism.
Okay, but I'm just saying you wrote the characters.
Right. Right. Yes.
Do you get a note from somebody telling you how you can characterize the part better?
But filmmaking is a very collaborative thing. So there were colors and moments that we didn't anticipate that the actors bring. And it's an entirely Irish crew, other than a cast and crew. Other than Jane Levy, the wonderful actress who plays my daughter, we're the only Americans. Everybody else is Irish. So there are little surprises. But my role, I wrote it for me to do. So I go, well, that sounds right. Like, what a genius writer, this guy. And Cole Meany just put on took it all on. And there were little things that, colloquialisms or phrases that I didn't get right at first, but the actors went, we would say it this way. I went, great. Say it as an Irish person would say it.
And how long did you get to stay in Ireland?
I was there about 8 weeks, and we shot it in 5 weeks. And when I left, I was really sad. It's like my whole family was with me, and we just had such a great time making it. And every day we had weather that was beautiful. And I said, I want to move here. I'm going to move here. And Cole Meany said, let me make a suggestion. Come visit in the winter before see what it's like in February before you make that jump.
Well, we have February here in New York as well. I guess that's probably why you're in California. The problem with people in theaters and all digital platforms.
Yes, you can Apple it, you can Amazon it, and really proud of it. And I hope people get to see it.
Personally, I like the theater experience best.
I know. You know what? We had a great screening out in L.A., and I forgot, because I don't go to the theaters that much. And I thought, oh, wow, you're sitting and laughing with other people in the communal. It is really something special.
Yeah, and the popcorn tastes better, too.
Yes, but having said that, and you can also enjoy it in your pajamas at home.
Okay. Paul Reiser.
Whatever works for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks,
we appreciate you spending time with us.
Nice to see you.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.